Now to this. The House DOGE Committee has invited NPR and PBS to testify about their federal funding. Chair of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, joins us this morning. Congressman, thanks for being here. Let me begin with that hearing. What are you looking to get out of it?
Well, we have a lot of questions for NPR. They receive a substantial amount of federal funding. When they were first created, they were a news agency that served a lot of underserved areas. Now, with all the various news networks, with all the podcast and streaming services, you wonder if that service is still needed. I don't think it is. But over that time period, they went from, being a somewhat fair and balanced news entity to being overwhelmingly liberal and biased, and I would argue they even try to indoctrinate their listeners. So much of what they've reported just over the past 4 or 5 years is blatantly false, and we're going to have some of those articles and some of those stories that they've written that just are not true, and there's no doubt today they're not true. They never went back and recanted. So we've got a lot of questions. I think the American taxpayers are sick and tired of paying for liberal indoctrination from NPR.
I want to get onto this subject, too. According to a new report, the Biden administration buried a study in order to justify their ban on liquefied natural gas export projects in 2024. Here's what Energy Secretary Chris Wright had to say about it earlier on the program. Listen to this.
Extremely disappointed to see what was done. In fact, last night I was just reading the original report prepared by the Department of Energy in 2023 that clearly showed it was in Americans' interest to grow our LNG exports. It wouldn't impact domestic prices, and in fact, it would lower greenhouse gas emissions. They initiated the LNG pause after that study was produced, but never released.
So I guess they weren't following the science here, Congressman.
No, they weren't. And this is an investigation I'm very proud of because we knew they were lying. This report now proves they were lying. This is the government at its worst. And what the Biden administration was doing was pandering to their extreme climate activists, their left-wing agenda that is not based on science. It's based on a pipe dream. And this puts America behind China. This puts America at a competitive disadvantage to our other competing nations because we don't have a common sense energy policy. And with what we've learned from this report, we don't even have a common sense energy policy that follows the science.
Yeah.
So now I think this gives the Trump administration all the ammunition it needs to move forward to put America back on top in energy production and just finally once and for all put to bed the blatant lies of the Biden administration and their friends on the left with the climate activists.
We'll leave it right there. Congressman James Comer, thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us today.